This is St Margaret's Church in Stoke Golding. Looks like I won't be going to this pub today. I'm heading out of Stoke Golding on the high street towards the canal. Hi again. Not so many people about. I'm not actually used to talking like this when people are hanging about, so I'll wait until I'm in the middle of nowhere. Today is about a 10 and a half mile walk heading to Upton Trig point, going through Bosworth battlefield and hopefully some other interesting places. Once you get to the high end of the high street, you'll come to a field which is next to the canal. You'll see a humpback bridge to your left hand side. Head over there, you'll see a gate to the left of the humpback bridge. Obviously it's not going to be the right. You cross over there and then head that way along the canal. We'll be heading down this path and then we'll come, well actually this path is part of the Albion Way. And I think we get to the bend there, we'll head across the fields up there. Watch out when you get through that gate. It's a little bit steep, but it's a short walk across this field, you come to another stile. Probably for a more enjoyable walk, I think if I did this again, instead of trying to go along the Albion Way and bagging that, which we would do later, I think I'd walk along the canal. But you live and learn. If you went along the canal, there's an entrance just there, which takes you out, and then you follow that path there. Don't know whether you can see it or not, but it's going to take us to the left of those trees just up there. Once you've gone across that muddy field, it's a nice easy path to follow. You can see the yellow way marker just there. It should be a straight line all the way, hopefully. I'm sure if you kept along the canal, you could have probably got off at that bridge and walked down here. Can't guarantee it, I'm not going to walk up there to look. That's Daddington House. And we're going to pick the path up just here. What a beautiful morning. Lovely scenery. There's the canal just over there. Obviously you can't see it because of the trees, but you could always do this walk following the canal. Once you cross that field, head to the left hand corner, you've got another stile to go over. Oh, I'm not too sure what this is, but it looks interesting. Looks like it might be in some sort of stream or something flowing through here. And probably used to be a footbridge. Don't know how, because that's higher than everywhere else. But just over there, you can see the banks of an old train line, which is the Ashby to Nuneaton joint rail line. Obviously not used anymore. Well, this doesn't look like it's old. It looks like it was built literally this year. Nice bit of brickwork though. Then you come to another stile where it takes you up and over the disused train line. Some handy steps. As you can see, that's the way it came from or went to, but looks like it won't go any further that way. Once you've gone over and you're on top of the train line, well, the mound, go down this path, you'll see what looks like an old pigsty or pig pen, and the path goes down to there. There's some steps just here. Not the best maintained steps. In fact, be careful, it's quite loose. Hang on a second. You can see very loose, and the fence is a bit rickety. Once you've gone across the fence, you'll see an obvious route across the field. If you look at the old maps, you'll see that this route was actually recorded back on the maps in 1888 to 1925, I think it is. So it's quite a well used route, probably taking farmers to a market or something like that, probably from here down to Stoke Golding. You cross over Fens Lane and there's another yellow waypost. You go across this field again and you can see, actually I'm looking for it, well there's no postmark, but you can see the stile just there. You walk past Orchard Farm and a lodge farm. And you can see another yellow way marker ahead. On the old maps it says Orchard Farm, but on the modern maps it says Apple Orchard Farm. So I wonder if they've got an apple orchard there now. You have to climb over here, so you don't bang your head on that. Handy little trip hazard. And a horse. Hope the horse isn't going to be any trouble. Just head over this, as you can see the route is very well signposted. Not surprisingly, when I got to that road, I should have turned right over the humpback bridge, over the canal. So I'm just heading back now. I was too busy following the signs for the Albion Way when I should have actually been following my route. So that's probably added about another half a mile or so onto it. I was hoping I could have rerouted and headed to where I want to head to, but unfortunately there wasn't any path around there. Oh well, we're back to Fen Lanes. Once we've gone over the sty, we turn left this time. When you come from the opposite direction, you turn right. I think if I was going to do this route again, I'd have kept on the canal, forget about the Albion Way, and just follow the canal around until you got to Sutton Wharf Bridge. That would have been a lot more pleasant. It's not a busy road this, but it's busy enough. It would have been a lot more pleasant walking along the canal, not having to dodge cars all the time. They give you plenty of space, but you only need one. I am now at Sutton Wharf Bridge. We'll pick the canal up after walking along what felt like the busiest stretch of road, but at least I can get off the main road now and drop back onto the canal. Nice little coffee shop. Could have walked along there. Once you've gone past the coffee shop, head down towards the canal. You pick up the path. The path takes you, well, keep it on the side of the canal, and eventually should come to a yellow way marker and turn right into the woods. Ambient woods. Looks like if you want to do some orienteering, there's the option. It's a nice quiet, as you can hear. I love it when it's nice and quiet and all you can hear is the birds. I've just heard a steam train, might be lucky, and it might be running today. It's amazing how quiet on a midweek, walking through Albion Wood, so close to Bosworth battlefield, can be. I've seen 3 people so far, which is how I like it. One day I might actually do an early morning walk, really early. If I see a sign for King Richard's Well, I might actually go and visit it, unless it's going to be a hard place to find. When you come out of Albion Woods, it's still got an easy to follow path. This looks like it might be interesting. Oh, came across a sundial. King Richard III's sundial. Once you've had a nosy round there, follow the path. And you'll see another yellow way marker. Just head through there and down the hill. Once you've looked at the sundial, head same direction that you came from, down the hill, I should be coming across the station soon. On this walk, they come up with some interesting little facts for you to read. I suppose that's from the Blue Boar pub in Leicester. Here's another one of those information posts. And as you can see, just down there is Shenton or Shenton train station. I'm sure if anybody watches this, they'll correct me. Is it Shenton or Shenton train station? Just come to the station now. I think there might be a bridge that you cross over. Can't quite remember. It'd be great if there's a train actually went by or was at the station. We're heading out now from the train station onto Shenton Lane or Shenton Lane. I'm going to start calling it Shenton Lane. It's probably a silent H, not too sure. But we're heading out to Shenton Lane and we're about, I'd say, 1.5 to 2 miles away from the Trig point. We're now going over Bradfield Bridge, which is again on the canal. If you'd wanted to, you could have followed the canal all the way from Stoke Golding to this bridge, Bradfield Bridge, turned left, headed down there, and taking you to Upton. Once you've gone over Bradfield Bridge, there's a house on the right hand side and a field. Turn right into the field, and this is Albion Way again. Cross over the brook. Obviously, people don't actually walk this far, which makes it nice and quiet. Well, that looks a fancy place. That fancy looking place is Shenton Hall or Shenton Hall. I'll get it out one day. I'm sure if I see some record says it's Shenton or Shenton. But like I say, if you think I'm wrong, please leave a comment. After all, I'm trying to show you interesting routes. You can show me how to pronounce these places. When you get to the end of the field, you come across Bosworth Road. You turn left, and this will take you past Shenton Hall, which is on your left hand side. Just come into the village of Shenton. With Shenton Hall on our left hand side. We got the church to our right. Pump Street, I wonder what the history of that is. But another gorgeous church. I assume with a hatch like that, that used to be some sort of grain store, which is now a gallery. At the end of Bosworth Road, you come to Sibson Lane, and Upton is 1.5 miles. As you leave Upton, the main road goes to the right, but we're keeping to the left hand side down Upton Lane. Well, Upton Lane is quiet. I see more people walking along here than cars. Well, actually I've seen 6 people along here, no cars, 2 cyclists, and that's not including me. It looked like on the old maps there's a trig point in there. Obviously it's marked as a triangle, but probably on the 1888 map, triangle means something else, but I'm not going to go in there. There seems to be a bit of a long trek along here, But it's a pleasant walk, hearing all the birds, looking at all the beautiful scenery. Lovely clear blue sky. When you get to the end of the field, just walk around the edge and you'll see another yellow way marker. Walk past it, keeping the farm to your left hand side, and eventually you'll come to Upton Road again. When you get to the end here, you turn left. Once you turn left, you enter the village of Upton. The other side of Upton is where the Trig point is. These are a couple of old pumps. Looks like that one used to be Shell, and I'm not too sure what that would have been. It's so warm now, I'm down to my t-shirt. You'd think it'd be a summer's day, not the fresh day it was today, this morning, and the freezing day it was on Tuesday. Once you've left Upton, you come to a bend in the road and a road that forks off to the right. You take the road that forks off to the right. Well, I know it's supposed to be around here somewhere. In fact, I found it. It's on the right hand side, just in there. As you can see, the plate looks in good condition. I'll go in there and take a couple of photos. But that's the Upton Trig point done. When you've bagged Upton Trig point, carry in the same direction that you've just been travelling, and further down here should be a path on the left hand side, hopefully marked with a yellow post. You go across a field. I think we've still got about 3 miles to go before we get back to the car. Hopefully we come across that path soon, because I don't fancy walking along the A444. That looks extremely busy. I've got a feeling it's going to be just here on the left, hopefully. If it's not, it's going to be here somewhere anyhow. Could this be it? Can't see any sign saying it is. Can't see any sign saying it isn't. Oh, I'm going to head down here. Hopefully it's on the map. It does say this is one of the routes, so I'm going to go down here. After walking about, I'd say, a mile along this country lane, I haven't got any clue what it's called. You come to Stoke Road. When you come to Stoke Road, which hopefully isn't going to be busy, you turn right, and that takes you down to Fen Lane again. And at Fen Lane, you turn left. That's almost the loop done. But we've still got about, I think, 2 miles to go. Back onto Fen Lane again. I think we've only got to walk about half a mile on here, then we turn off. Turn right down there. That'll take me to Stoke Golding, which is 1.5 miles. But the route I've planned isn't that way. We're going to carry on along this way just for a little longer. There should be a footpath on the right hand side taking us through fields, and that'll take us to Stoke Golding. Once you've gone past the farm, you can see the yellow post. It's just up there. Obviously you can't see it on the camera, but then we turn right. We come to the sign for the public footpath, and we are now going to cross over that little bridge across the field, and we're going to head to that church. I think it's that church. Hope it is. There's going to be a bit of an awkward field to cross. The farmer's got a load of crop down here. Hopefully there's an obvious path that I can follow. I can't find it. Even if it's just where the tractor's been, I can follow that. Just need to get to the opposite side. Well, that's handy. There's a big grass patch along here, dividing the 2 fields. This makes it a lot easier. Just up for a drink of my water. It's all gone warm, but when you're sweating and it's a warm day like today, warm water tastes so nice. I've made it to the corner of the field. If you looked at my map, I didn't take the most direct route, but I took the route that would hopefully be pleasing to the farmer I didn't damage any of his crop unless he's growing grass, and I've now made it to the bridge. When you get to the other side of the field, you'll come to another yellow way marker and a bridge. It takes you over this brook. I'm sure the brook's got a name. Somebody's left some flowers. Or to get something like that for when we do one of the trig points on private property. And follow these yellow way markers. And just near that yellow way marker is a sign. Hopefully that's saying to Stoke Golding. Once you've crossed over that bridge and gone a short little distance over the field, you'll come to this log. It's signposted public footpath. Cross over the log, and this will take you to Fox Covert Lane. Looks like another one of those busy lanes. And follow this. At the end of Fox Covert Lane, you come to Upton Lane again. As you can see, the sign says 3/4 of a mile, and that's how far roughly we've got to get back to the car. So when you get to the end here, turn left. We've just come into Stoke Golding after doing almost 11 miles. If you've made it this far, you can always cut the walk a lot shorter by picking up the canal just here. I think on a day like today when it's nice and sunny, it would have been a lot more pleasurable walking along the canal than walking along the roads that I did, but you live and learn. If I was going to do it again, I'd follow the canal all the way to the Sutton Wharf Bridge. It'd be a lot more pleasant than the route I actually took, but you live and learn. Then once you've got to Sutton Wharf Bridge, you can follow along, go through Ambian Woods and just go that way. Hi, I'm not too sure whether this is actually going to work in here or not, but I've had my pint. It was lovely and refreshing. The pub garden was a little bit too busy for me to actually talk there on my own, because I'm quite a quiet person really. But I went to the George and Dragon after doing a 11.25 mile walk, had a pint of Church End Brewery's What the Fox Hat, and basically chilled. Well, I feel a lot better now, because after all, my car temperature gauge is 21 degrees, so it's been quite a hot walk. I'm sweating, I'm hot, I'm thirsty. When I get home, I might have a nice cold pint of cider and, well, basically chill. Thanks for joining me, and if you enjoyed this walk and you'd like to join me for another walk, yeah, I'd like you to join me sometime, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.